What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. The other day I did a video where I spoke about the incident that occurred in Ironwood. And I keep seeing on different platforms that there's a statewide lockdown, right? And I think that to people outside of California, that's probably like, whoa, right? To those of us from California that done time in California, you know, it's not a whoa moment. You know, it's understandable. But I wanted to do some contrast right here. And so this incident, there was a 24-hour lockdown. Right. I'm guaranteed there's a modified program still, but there's been some things that have changed over the years. So let's first talk about the closing down of the shoes. They're not using the shoes the way they used to use them. They're also not using lockdowns the way they used to use them because of the lawsuits and everything that had happened. Right. So the CDC, that kind of takes away their ability to use lockdowns as punitive measures like they used to. But let me let you guys in on something. So this incident was random. Obviously, it was random. Anybody that knows, go ahead and check out the Prison Guard channel. Ask him. Go to 16 to Life. That's a great platform. I know he put out something today on this. But you can ask them if the Southern Raza or the Northern Raza decide that they're going to make a move, everybody's going to have a strap. Everybody's going to have a weapon. If that would have been a coordinated, planned out attack against those COs, believe that it would have been a whole lot uglier. It wouldn't have happened the way it happened. It's unfortunate that it did happen the way it happened. Whatever happened, I already told you guys in the video that I did. I'm not going to... I take everything with a grain of salt. Whatever the CDC is saying, the reason it is, I heard today they're saying that the convict that was being escorted headbutted the cop. I just don't see Raza doing stuff like that unprovoked. It would be completely out of the norm. Now, for those of you that don't know, Raza, north or south, do not target COs. They don't target cops. It's bad for business. Raza in California, in the penal system in California, you as an individual, you're just a tiny piece of a humongous puzzle. Your feelings and your ego and the grand scheme of things in prison are irrelevant. I remember I told a story a long time ago about a homie. He was from Kansas Street. And he had been involved in an incident on one of the yards in Pelican Bay between the Raza from Southern California and the Paisans. Everybody went to the oil, but one of the Raza from down south and one of the Paisas, they both wound up on a yard in the bay. And the Raza from Southern California, the south sider, was like, hey, Holmes, he told the vatos in charge, hey, I can't be on the yard with this vato. You know what I'm saying? He was a threat. We were both involved. I want to get into it with them. So they approached the Paisas, and they asked the Paisa, hey, this is what he wants to do. He wants you to get your weapon. He's going to get his, and you guys are going to meet up. And the Paisa said, yeah. Everything was set up. They told them to go to a designated spot, handle their business there. Nobody else was going to get involved. The Southsider was walking in that direction. The Paisa started walking in that direction. And when he saw how serious, hold up, this isn't a bluff, he took off running. And the Southsider went after him. Unfortunately for him, there were COs in between him and the Paisa. They saw the knife in his hand. They tried to break it up, and he stabbed the cop. Went back to the oil, and there was a discussion on having him hit. Because the thing was, it was okay, so why did you hit the Hura? And he was like, well, he was in the way. And he's like, yeah, but that wasn't your target. That's bad for business. That slammed everything down. It puts heat on the legends, you know, like, because anytime they do it, when a Raza from Southern California do something, they touch a Hura, they take it different because of how organized the Raza are behind the walls. So this thing was a 24-hour, you know, lockdown, threat assessment, whatever they want to call it. And they realized, you know, yeah, this is just obviously anytime any group of Raza move and their people aren't strapped and using weapons, that's a dead giveaway. This was a spur of the moment, wasn't planned. As long as there's no further disrespect, the program can go right back to normal. Now, I will say this, and this is a well-known fact. Blacks behind the wall in California prisons, they function very, very different. They don't have something above them that they're answering to. And they, on a regular basis, will assault staff. They will get off on staff. And the only repercussions from that is going to be from the CDC. Obviously, they're going to beat you down. You're going to catch some time, shit like that. But that's very well known. The blacks inside the CDC will get off on the cops in a heartbeat. I'll tell you about one of the most famous ones. Somebody in the comments mentioned it the other day as if it was something worth bragging about. And I'm like, I was around those dudes after they did it. You know, like, I don't know where you were or what you heard or, you know, but I was right there with them. One of them worked in the chow hall with me after, and he told me everything that went down. So this was a very famous one by the East Coast and Calipatria. The East Coast did this twice. They have a reputation within the system, the East Coast Crips, of getting off on cops. Like, everybody knows that, right? There was an incident where a female sergeant, one of the East Coast went up to the program office. They didn't have a fence around the program offices back then. The East Coast made them rethink that. And there's fences around the doors of the program offices because of them. One of the East Coast was short to the house. He went to go ask the counselor something. And it was a female sergeant, a black female sergeant, disrespected him. I mean, talked to him like if she was a man. When he went back to his homies, they were like, hey, what happened? What'd they tell you? And he ran them down on what happened. And they decided, okay, she wants to act like a man. They were going to treat her like one. And from firsthand story, every one of them wanted to go in there. Every one of these coasts was like, I'm going. And they were like, no. And they drew straws. And the ones that got the short straws, they were the ones that were going to go in there. And my coworker, who was one of them that went in there, he was one of the first ones in the door. And he said that when they came walking in, that same female sergeant put her hands on the table. She's like, man, what the fuck do you guys? She tried to get crazy. And next thing you know, all the SEALs were running. Prison is extremely violent. That's an example of a situation where that sergeant, every single SEAL that got hurt in that, it was because that sergeant decided to act as if she was bulletproof, knife proof, and whatever else proof she thought in her head. And the East Coast let her know, shit, they're hitting anything. They got disrespected. They're going after it. Now, when there was a staff assault and they get the guys that they know for a fact are involved in a staff assault in prison, immediately you have to get transferred out of that institution. Because everybody knows the COs are going to retaliate. So they'll move them to the nearest institution, house them there. Not before they whoop you though. So my coworker had told me, he was like, man, they beat the brakes off us, man. Once they got them handcuffs on us, he goes, man, they beat the fuck out of us. He said then they took him to Corcoran. Corcoran Shoe. And that was back when they had the sharks over there, the cops that would come on with ski masks on and beat the shit out of you. They came in, they beat down the first East Coast, jumped up like boom, set his set, his hood, everything. They dragged him out, beat him down, came back in, got the next one, same. And these dudes not they saw what was happening. Every one of them got up, said their hood, said their name, they dragged them out. My coworker said by the time he got out, because he could see black stuff like rolling on the ground. And what these cops were doing is they were taking them out, they were beating the fuck out of them, and they had clippers. And they were shaving, not their whole head, but they would shave like a cornrow off or just across their head. And he said that after they had them all beat down, they had them all like in a day room or something, or it might have been R&R. And the COs were all laughing, all with their ski masks on. And the CO told them, look at all these nappy-headed ends that we got here. He said the next day they came, because they took them, beat them all down, beat the bark off of them, threw them in the cells with no medical. And then the next day they came and they said, hey, you want medical attention? First guy said, yeah, I need medical attention. He was all busted up. They dragged him out to the fucking rotunda and beat him down some more and said, there's your medical attention. Threw him back in and said, who else needs medical attention? That's how the CDC used to be. And the East Coast did it again. They I mean, you know, they had two incidents like that famous. Everybody that was busted at the time knows. And I'm going to say this. Back then, I don't remember a statewide lockdown. There may have been, and I just don't remember, but I don't remember. I was in New Folsom at the time that happened. I don't remember a statewide lockdown the way they do it now. I do recall every incident where the Southerners have moved on cops. I recall a statewide. And again, I think it's not because one group's better than the other. People like to say that that's what I do. It's not what I do. I'm fair with everybody. I'm unbiased when I tell a story. Excuse me. The reason why they do that, again, it goes back to how they're structured and organized. The Raza behind the wall. It you know, it could just take a phone call and everybody across the state can be on the same page. No one questioning anything. And they know that. And so that's why they'll do that, 24-hour thing, whatever it is. But anyways, I just wanted to put a video out today and clarify that if there was a lockdown, a 24-hour thing, there will be probably a modified program. But as unfortunate as it is, it's just prison. Was there 200 people on that yard that day that jumped in and got involved? I don't know. But people got hurt. It was in reaction to something that went down. Like I said in my original video, the CDC will do their investigation. How thorough it'll be, I don't know. But the convicts will do their investigation and believe that will be extremely thorough. And if somebody was at fault on the convict side, they will clean that up. They will fix that. But life is the way it is in there. Prison is prison. This is just another glimpse at. Imagine that was a level 3. Imagine you get caught up on drunk driving and you hit somebody and you catch a manslaughter, but you don't get an L and you're doing your time. If you would have been on that yard that day and you were anywhere near those COs, you were expected to get off. When you see, I remember when the riot happened in '96 in New Folsom, there was a couple Raza that didn't get involved because there was two different wires that came down, and there was a legend in the oil. After the riot, they asked him, in that situation when you have two different wires, one says yes, one says no, what do you do? And the legend said, hey, once you see the ramfla rolling, how do you sit back and watch it and not participate? He said, whoever's in charge, whoever made the decision, they'll pay the price. But how do you sit back and watch? So that goes to that incident that day. Whoever was on the yard, however many people were on the yard, once it goes, you go. The chips are going to fall where they do. That's why I say all the time in my videos, it's a whole lot nicer out here. Those of you that don't want to listen to somebody, you don't want nobody telling you what to do, stay your ass out of prison. Because they will tell you what to do. Well, I take that back. They're going to tell you what's expected of you. They're going to let you make a choice. But if they don't like your decision, then they make theirs. And believe me, you won't like theirs. That's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. You guys got 2 on the channel today. I still got to do one on the other channel. The other channel, by the way, the Dub S channel, do me a favor, you guys. If you haven't already gone over there and checked it out, check out the video and share it with somebody. If you think somebody would enjoy, share it, because it's not monetized. So YouTube is not going to push it. Whoever happens to see it, they're going to see it. The only way it's going to go anywhere is if we share it and we push it out on our own. With that said, everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out.